What's going on, traders? Welcome back to another live stream. I have the wrong screen up, and I can hear myself talking. Happy Friday. Welcome back to the live stream. If you're new, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. Before we jump onto the charts, make sure you read what's on the screen. Trading is risky. Most traders do lose money. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything at all. Do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like Top 1 Futures, code RDF, Bookmap, and others. What is going on? Welcome to the show. Great to see you. Great to have you guys back on. Let's hop on these charts, man. Market's open. 9:34 a.m. Eastern. What's going on, everybody? Good morning, good morning. Chuck, Wolf, Trading Dream Team. Stay calm, stay focused, be disciplined. What's up, Z Money? Happy Friday. Don't F it up Friday. It is Don't F it up Friday. Rohit, what's up? Alan, good morning. What's up? Ralph, good morning. What's going on? What's going on, guys? Good afternoon, good evening. Luciano, Andrew Baggs, Middle Dock to Rock. I can't ever get these things right. JNRV, what's up? Good morning. Good morning. Appreciate you guys hopping on. I see we got more and more people hopping on across streams. Welcome to the show. Let's go ahead and hop out to the daily. Get the show started here. Let's get things rolling. We have, we don't want to trade 5 minis. We have Project X loaded up on through Top 1 Futures. We got a 7-pack of straight to sim funded pro accounts that we're looking at trading here today. Got to look at my 50Ks because I just haven't gotten enough trading in them, and I got some vacation coming up. Got to get some trading done at very least. Don't want to violate the inactivity rule. But let's take a look at the daily. We're looking at ES here. We're looking at the S&P 500, the big boy contract here. Maybe Nasdaq's the big boy contract and ES is the little brother. I don't know. But let's take a look at what we got going on here on the daily. Long wick to the downside here for Wednesday. Bearish candles overall, right? All-time highs, pushing to the upside, pulling back a little bit here. This looked like we could really recover and just kind of take off after that closure. We didn't really do that yesterday. We didn't sweep below prior bar low. We didn't come below Wednesday's low down there. But we did have a nice wick to the downside. Didn't go and test the high either inside. But a bearish bar nonetheless. Now, starting to push off the open on this. Kind of interesting structure here. Drop down to the 15-minute. Let's see what we got going on here. We'll zoom out. Take a look at our 15-minute chart. Kind of choppy down here. A little bit choppy down here, guys. Overnight session, interesting move. Definitely interesting move. We had a sell-off and recovery. London, right before London opened, nice sell-off. Pretty dang aggressive. And then a recovery into pre-market, and now a push to the upside, cracking overnight high, holding above VWAP. So this is an interesting setup. I could see a number of things happening today. But Friday, right, man? Friday, we got J Powell speaking in a little bit. We do have some news. Let's take a look at that before we go even any further. ForexFactory.com. We do have J Powell speaking at 10 a.m. Fed chair. That could be dicey. Definitely could be dicey. We got Trump speaking at 12. Oh, what? Well, we're in for a wild day here, guys. I mean, we never know. Maybe it's calm and choppy and we don't do anything, but we got some obvious potential reasons for volatility coming into today. We'll see what this looks like for sure. But this is likely to be an interesting day. We have the Fed chair speaking. That traditionally sends markets for an absolute loop. Trump speaking also sending markets for an absolute loop these days. It is Jackson Hole. That's been going on the last couple days. Actually, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. I'm going to trade, but if you're going to trade through the New York session today, I would just be prepared for wild volatility at any time can come into the markets. I'm going to take my setups as they come. Probably, but that's dicey. I didn't know we had a Trump. Was that on the schedule? I don't know, because I posted even stuff this morning. Like, I don't think that was scheduled earlier this week. I'm going to go back and actually look real quick. Just out of curiosity. No, it wasn't. That's okay. So let's see what we did here. 9:30. Yeah, here's the top end of this this candle popping to the upside. Starting to break to the upside here on ES. Let's go ahead and get our little side-by-side chart rolling. I like this. Been liking the 15-minute and the 1-minute side-by-side. And I had somebody asking about Bookmap. I've had multiple people ask about Bookmap, so we're going to talk about Bookmap here in just a minute. I'm not even going to frame anything right now, guys. I hate this type of structure for the morning. I hate the sweep below lows and then a pop to the upside, like taking off at the open. That just doesn't do anything for my day. It's not, doesn't give me a way to get into the move right off the bat. I'm usually waiting for this to happen, so we don't have that right now. I've had a pretty badass week this week. Straight wins. If you've been hanging out on the live sessions, it's been nothing but wins and nice profit. So I'm not looking to just erase that on a Friday. If I have to take an L the same way when I come to the table, come to the charts after taking an L the day before, I will, right? You never know whether the next day is going to be a green or a red day. If you think you do, the market's going to tell you that you certainly do not. Yeah, I don't really want to short this, but that's the only play that I have here. Would be a short above overnight high, like into these maybe even 25s. But I'm not going to start shorting this right off the open. Maybe in a 50K. Maybe I'll swap over and we'll get a trade going in one of those bad boys. Take some risk off. Looking at Bookmap, which I will talk about right now. Yeah, not just like I know what my setup looks like, right? You trade for long enough, you know what the market looks like. So right off the bat, like I've talked about in the past, I know when something's coming for me or when I don't have anything that's setting up that I can see in the next considerable amount of time. A short, just start shorting the market, but that's really not going to look like a good play today. Not after sweeping down around those lows with that wick lower at 2:30 a.m. and then pop back up. Strong CVD, strong market right out of the gate on a Friday. Don't want to step in front of that. So I don't want to be short. Don't really want to be short. So don't have a play to get long either. So nothing so far. That's what I got. But what's up? What's up, Scott? Pump and dump. Okay. FreezeX maybe says thinking we are going to sell off. Maybe just a thought. David, what's up? On Kick, what's going on, guys? Welcome. So let's take a look at Bookmap real quick. If you guys don't know, I'm partnered and affiliated with Bookmap. It's my favorite order flow tool. I run this on the side, even though I'm not always displaying it. I'll throw the link in chat. That's the best deal on Bookmap if you want to check it out. Let's talk about what Bookmap is, how we can utilize it maybe, and then what it actually costs to get Bookmap, what this looks like. So this is level 2 data. Level 2 data meaning we have actual orders above and below price, right? Different than what we would just see on a candlestick chart. This is our price in the middle, best bid and best ask. That's how it's displayed on my chart. Got some volume bubbles getting overlaid instead of candlesticks, right? Then we have individual price levels and then quantity of buy orders and sell orders resting at those price levels here on the ES contract, the current contract. We also have cumulative volume delta and some other volume profiles. But the nice thing about Bookmap is it displays this liquidity, it displays the DOM, traditional depth of market, or close to it, by way of a heat map. Makes it real easy. And it stores that in historical data the same way that a candlestick chart does, right? Everything on a candlestick chart is historical outside of the candle that's printing itself, right? Same thing on this chart here. When you use a traditional DOM, you can get the same information. It changes in real time. There is no historical information, right? You can see that with Bookmap. So I think that's the advantage of using Bookmap or maybe another order flow tool that gives you that same data. There are other ones out there. You don't have to use Bookmap, right? I'm biased. I'm partnered and affiliated. I stand to make money, like I'd like to repeat 1,000 times. But I would definitely be using Bookmap, even if I wasn't partnered and affiliated. I was using it before I was a partner and affiliated, and I really do enjoy using it. Very helpful. I find it very helpful in my trading. The questions that I got asked were are often like, how much does it cost? What is it? What do you have to buy? You can head right to the site from that link that I threw in chat if you want to check out prices. That brings you right to like the checkout page, and it shows you the best prices. That's the best prices with a discount. But here's the important part to recognize with any order flow software level 2 data. You need a subscription to the platform. Bookmap itself is not free, okay? Then you need a subscription to level 2 data. You need MBO data. You need a feed coming from whatever company you want to purchase that from. Separate. This is similar to any paid program and where you want to use order flow data. You want not just the tip of the iceberg, you want the whole thing. The full book, okay? You can get Bookmap directly from Bookmap, and then you have your choice of data. You can use whatever data you want that Bookmap accepts. They accept all the normal ones, including their own, which you can purchase directly from Bookmap, called Bookmap data. But you can use Rhythmic, you can use DXFeed, you could use a whole bunch of the other common data providers to feed that in. But those are two separate subscriptions that you have to look at purchasing. Maybe you have level 2 data from someone else already, from whatever company of your choice. You can see if that works with Bookmap. But Bookmap is pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. So if you guys have questions, feel free. Let me know. Let's look at this, man. Shot out of a rocket here. Right off the open. No setup for me, man. No setup for me. Really don't have anything outside of trying shorts on this. And maybe we chop, maybe we pull back to VWAP, maybe we come in. But this type of structure, right? Consolidation, a sweep down to the lows, and then a breakout to the upside. That traditionally looks like a continuation move, right? It looks really good for a strong push off the open. The other tool that I really do take a lot of consideration into my trading nowadays, a readout is CVD, cumulative volume delta, and it's heavy. It's very strong, very strong. We are pushing 7,000 cumulative volume delta from the time that I anchored to it. I'm a little bit late today, so it is a little bit skewed for me personally. But that's not something really that I want to step in front of. A sweep of prior day high for a short absolutely could be in play. We're starting to turn right here, back down to the 20s. Right back down to VWAP. If you are looking for that setup, that could certainly be a trade idea. I think we're likely either to pull back to VWAP, come back down, sweep these lows, go trade out the 96s, 95s, or push directly higher, right? Come back up to this level. We kind of got no man's land here. We don't have a lot in between, and I don't think it's likely for us to just come and hang out up here. I think we maybe come above these highs up to like the 35s, in which case I would be almost interested in looking at it, because that would really be at an extreme. And then either come all the way through, show a lot of strength, and turn this into a big bullish Friday, which certainly could be in store, or we come right back down on this. Come right back down into this middle ground, come and retest this area of high volume. So not a terrible spot on the chart to look for a trade would be up near those 35s. It really is counter to my overall bias, and so I would probably only do it with a low amount of risk, and I might do that in a 50K account rather than a 7-pack of the 150Ks. That okay, what's up with my levels here? Why are my levels jacked up? This prior day high is in the wrong spot. Is it in the wrong spot? Yeah. What is going on? Hang on, guys. Let's take a look at this together. Why is my prior day high in the wrong spot on my 1-minute chart? We're not syncing, maybe? Yeah, nope. This was off. Is everything off? No, that's in the right spot. Sorry, guys. Now I'm just checking my chart. Yeah, man. What's up with this? What's up with Project X? Weird, man. Hang on. This is interesting. Oh, I got 2 prior day lows on here, man. What? Yeah, sometimes with running multiple layouts on Project X, stuff gets jacked up. This is really weird because I haven't added. There's all these different zones on here. This is kind of jacked up, man. I really don't like to see that. That's kind of annoying. I'm not adding new levels to my chart day in and day out. I literally just move them around. They're the same levels every day. If I add anything, it's a couple zones, but I haven't added anything in like 2 days. It's the same basic, almost naked chart. But I really hate to see things in the wrong spot. That's actually frustrating because that's all it takes to make a trading error. And it's your fault because you got to double check everything, but that would be a frustrating one. So now I'm just going to check this. Prior day highs here. Overnight highs here. Par week low. This is in the wrong spot, which makes absolutely no sense to me because it shows synced. That's a little frustrating. Can't, I don't complain about a lot, but this is in the wrong spot also. So I'm syncing and then I'm unsyncing it and then syncing it together. But as you can see, they're all showing actually synced to begin with. Yeah, man, I don't like that. I definitely don't like that, Project X. That zone's in the right spot. That zone's in the right spot. That zone's in the right spot. This is garbage. And then what is this? Anyway, there's an example of making sure your charts are lined up, double checking everything. Even if you use the same charts day in and day out, sometimes the platform can get a little bit funky. So I love Project X. It's not the first time I've kind of had stuff like that happen, though. There's 1,000 different reasons why that could have happened, but I keep my charts synced. I swap back and forth between different charts and different chart types, but I don't unlink and link things. I don't link and then unlink certain drawings. So I don't know why that happens, but I don't like it. But I'm not going to continue complaining. So definitely worth looking at, right? Because we got money on the line here, and if you're trading off of a level and your level is completely in the wrong spot, that's a problem, right? We know about VWAP not resetting. You have to scroll out and then scroll back in. But there's an example of double checking your chart layout. I've noticed it before when you're using multiple chart layouts. When you mark up on one, then come back and then split it again, maybe you can have problems like that. So got to be cautious, but be careful. Be careful. So yeah, man, I really don't like this short. I'm watching this chart, watching this setup, guys, I really don't have anything good on this at all coming into the open. I'm going to wait, right? Plenty of time. But like I said, right into the open, shot out of a cannon after, sweeping prior day's low. That's not a good setup for me. That's definitely not a good setup for me. I would like to be long in this market over being short. I definitely don't have a way in long. And my only opportunity is for the short by way of risk structure. But I don't know that we have to come all the way back down on this. I could certainly see it potentially back down to the 6400s. It's a nice key level. I don't have the confidence to throw a short on this. It's just not a valid setup. It's not a great risk structure. I think stop loss would have to be way high, way outside of the 35s, 40s. If we pop to the 35s, for example, though, I would look for a short. I think that presents a really, really clean risk structure where, yes, we have more data that we're moving to the upside, but I think it's unlikely that we blast through to like the 6470s before pulling back down towards VWAP. We certainly can, but I would look for a short up there. That would be my first play. And like I said, I'd probably keep risk pretty low because it's just not not what lines up as well, not as A+ or great or structure wise, whatever you want to call it, right? A little bit of discretion. I'm slightly dynamic with risk management. I see trading opportunities present. Some of them are, everything across the board lines up, perfectly. And you can just take those if you want because, you'll end up with a higher win rate, maybe a higher probability of those trades. But I still look at things and I say, well, this is still a decent opportunity, maybe not as beautiful. And if I'm only ever waiting for, the most perfect setup, I really weed out a lot of other good trades or trades that could be profitable. So let's see. Let's see. What's up? I was going to wait for J Powell, but then Trump. Next anyone. What's up? Yeah, cup of coffee. You guys have layouts here? You guys have layouts. Overlap in this dragon. I only have 2 charts. Yep. Wolf, morning, guys. Book perhaps a little behind. Yeah. Breakfast of Champions. Yeah, dude. Yeah, this is going to be dicey, guys. I think it would be really unlikely if we didn't see a crazy candle print today. At least one. We got J Powell speaking and Trump speaking. If you didn't check that, go check your favorite news site. We have 10 a.m. red folder news, 12 p.m. red folder news. 2 of the biggest market movers in the entire world, I would say, would be Trump and Jerome Powell. Both of them scheduled to speak today. That traditionally sends the market for a loop. I still believe the market's going to do whatever it's going to do as those fundamental, news impacts come in. They just exacerbate the movements, which can cause an issue, right? Volatility. You can't account for a change in volatility if you really have no good way of understanding what that volatility is going to look like until it shows up. So if you're not a momentum scalper, you're not trading news, you're not trading right into when those guys are talking, throwing a trade on before and holding it through, you could easily get wicked out, right? And then a move in your direction, that type of a deal. You can widen out, try to account for it, widen out with stops and targets, size down, which is probably what I would look to do, and then just trade through it. But there's different ways to manage that. Different schools of thought. It's up to the individual trader, I think. So we came up here, cracked the 25s, found sellers, and then volume died right off, and we've just been hanging out up here. Starting to trickle back down lower. Like I said, the gun to my head is the short play, right back down to VWAP. I don't love this. We have levels of liquidity above. We are very strong right out of the gate, strong for overnight session after sweeping that low. I don't like it for just a sweep of the level and then a pull right back in. Maybe if we cracked higher and then started to come down with some force, maybe. But we're going to wait and see if we can't get something rolling together here. But so far, I really don't have a trade setup for me, which is okay. I've had trade setups all week, right? I've had nice stuff to trade all damn week. Not going to complain. Going to wait patiently for our setups to come. Put our trades on without reservation or hesitation. In the wise words of Mark Douglas. Yeah, this looks like a move right back down towards the 6400s. Whoa, excuse me. Good morning. What's going on, guys? See, we got some chatting it up in the Discord. If you're not in the free Discord, feel free to hop in. Yeah, right back down to VWAP, maybe right back down to overnight high, 6400s on a sweep of prior day high. Not my play, obviously. Not my play. Yeah, man, that was a move. That was a move. Immediate reversal right back down. Right back down. Got Brian getting short YM. What's up, Brian? Just checking out my Discord. Yeah, hell of a move right back down. NQ right back down at VWAP. YM looking strongest out of all of them. I don't really take into consideration correlation, but I got TradingView loaded up on the side. Got a live account loaded up there. Every once in a while I click through, just take a look. Yeah, this is... Maybe we just chop. Maybe we chop ahead of these guys talking. We got about a minute until Jerome Powell is scheduled to start speaking. So that is definitely interesting. Here we go. Ooh. Wow. Lot of volatility. Wow. Wait a minute. Was it him speaking or was it news? Was it data? Wow. A ton of volatility. I wasn't expecting it to print on the first candle. Due to speak about the economic outlook and monetary policy framework at the Jackson Hole Economic Policy Symposium in Wyoming. Did he say something? Wow. Wow. So that short definitely would have been nice. Would not have been nice. Longs anywhere would have been nice. Wow. Traditionally a non-data release, like not having a number come out, does not generate a move like that. But what do I know, man? I guess just immediately bullish, or maybe he started talking and said, he had a red tie on instead of a blue tie, and that sends the market. Insane movement. Ton of volume. Bookmap was somewhat expecting it because it got dark, but absolutely shot out of a cannon. Trading directly up. Let's see if we get any sellers up at this zone that I have marked. This is coming off the 15-minute chart, or we just blast directly through. We run all-time highs. Heavy volatility. There's our red folder news event. Wow, for sure. I guess he started speaking right off the bat and had to say something. I'm just looking at a couple financial news sites. Obviously you can stream it. It's not really what I like to do. I think you're just watching it and trying to trade off of whatever he's saying. I don't think that's helpful. Financial Juice won't even load. I'm guessing they're getting some heavy people watching it. Let's see. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I was trying to pull up. What we got going on. Absolutely insane. All right, let's see. Like we said, that's why we look at basic news sites just to take a look. Let's see. Let's read the chat. I'm late. What's up, guys? I'm late. Scott, talk about what he's got going on. Nice, Scott. Powell has become nothing burger after Trump took the reins. Not today, Wolf. Not today. VWAP 6313. Let's see. Bro, I'm good so far. Made my trade and account is locked up for the day. Now I'm kicking it with y'all. Cross my fingers for some ducks. Long ago, Pally was excitement now. Pally, let's see. Andrew Pop, what the F? Wow. Zach didn't give the duck disclaimer. He said good morning. Pal speech. Yeah, like I gotta go back. We know pal speech, right? So was it just him saying hello at 10 a.m. or like I'm just curious. An insane pump on is not like on him speaking, right? That's like, again, I'm not a fundamental guy. I don't care to try to predict or or judge based on what's going on, but like I'm just curious why we shot out of a cannon if it wasn't news. But I guess he came out and immediately started talking and gave some like key information. Let's see. He must have came out and jumped like directly into it. Let's see. Speech, yeah. Ducks or no ducks, good vibe. Shifting balance of the okay, here we go. So, okay, finally financial juice loaded. Shifting balance of risks may warrant adjusting policy. There you go. So that was at 10 a.m. So he immediately came out and said something. The situation suggests downside risks to employment are rising. Latest data indicates 12 months PCE inflation rose. So that's the market moving deal from them. All right. So anyway, enough even worrying about it. Trading this. So I can't complain about my 15-minute zone. I guess the only thing that I can really talk about so far here today is having a discretionary zone marked on the chart. Here's where this came from, guys. Let's talk about marking up of zones while we wait to see if this thing pulls back or we just rip directly through all-time highs and blast off. Like that's kind of what this looks like. Simple discretionary level. I figured if we were going to sell off, we might sell off from up here, pull right back down into VWAP. If we were going to move to the next area of high volume, it would be all the way up here where we have this high volume node right here. Why? We got a lot of consolidation and it's a key level area that was tested as resistance and support multiple times, right? Multiple times. Do we have to find sellers here? No. Do we have to do anything here? Can we just blast through? No, we can do whatever we want, right? But I find that marking simple discretionary levels, even if you use just a visible range volume profile, the way that I have right here, you can find spots where we might have an interesting reaction, right? Where we might move to and from them quickly. They might act as support and resistance areas, right? So that's kind of what we got going on here so far. We shot up like a rocket to that zone, and now have since started to pull back. I'm trying to frame this in a way to look at what in the world is this doing? Yeah, this is going to be wild structure to trade off of. That's kind of where I was going with that thought. This is going to be pretty difficult to trade off of from here. Oh, buyer's looking strong here. Buyer's looking strong right back up. Yeah, man, this is super volatile. I don't have anything off of this, guys. We'll be hanging out and watching it with you. You know, we can hang around and see what the market's got for us. But this is looking gnarly, looking super duper gnarly. Shot out of a cannon. Obviously, market liked what he had to say. We'll see if we, sometimes we just completely erase these moves, but this one looks very, very strong, very strong. A ton of volume behind it, right? Obviously very strong cumulative volume delta, up over 11,000 now, rising on every pop. We've had sell orders stack up here, and they've just continued to be eaten up. So this one's interesting, but I don't know about eyeballing a trade off of this. I think we could really continue to just blast off today and form this very difficult hit the buy button and throw a stop anywhere in the market type of a trend. The opposite is equally true. He can say anything at any time that backs off what he said first, which often happens, or he answers a question. I don't know if there's a Q&A for this, but we got, obviously a high impact news event playing out in front of us here. So figured that he would start talking and then maybe we would start to get some volatility, but really did not expect that at 10 a.m. on the dot, we would have a massive candle print on the U.S. indices that it was to come out and say something right off the bat that would impact the market that much. But that's what we got today. So let's see where we go from here. I don't know that I get on anything on here as far as a trade, but we'll hang out. We'll watch the market. I'd be cautious if you're trading this, guys. If you're not a news trader, right? If you're not a news and momentum driven trader, I would definitely be cautious, trading this. Maybe you throw a practice account on, you throw a demo account on, and you have some fun and see how much money you can make by just scaling into losers, which is what most people do on demo accounts and practice accounts. Or you attempt to actually trade, right? Which is what you really should be doing. But you just don't have risk on the line. This is gnarly, though. Very gnarly. Let's see. Powell just suggested a change. Yep. Wait for the retracement, cough, Trump speech. And Trump going to dump that. Yeah, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised, guys. The way this market has been, like, I hate to think like that. I really hate to think like that. The way this market has been like, what's like the absolute opposite of what should happen? Like, what would be insane? Like, what would be just something that like makes like no sense? And like, I don't know, Trump talking and then being like, I'm going to fire Jerome Powell. He's out. And the market just sells off 200 points and then bounces. There's like, so like, that's not a strategy. That's not a good way to create a bias or to read the market. But it is decent to like recognize that in the context of what's been going on recently. Why is this tripping out, man? It's not unheard of that we get a crazy reversal today, right? That we get an absolutely crazy reversal today. There we go. We started to. Well, no, I don't have view uploaded. Let's see. Trump going to dump that. Yeah, buy the rumor, sell the fact. Yeah, it's usually buy the rumor, sell the news. That's the deal. But I say they're going to look at adjusting stance. AK. Yeah, Alex commenting. No Q&A. Okay. Trump speaking now. Is he? I thought he was scheduled to speak at 12. Oh man. Here we go, guys. Get ready for it. Get ready for it, chat. I'm looking it up. Traders resume fully pricing in 2 Fed rate cuts by the end of the year. Traders now put about 90% probability on a Fed rate cut in September versus 75 before Powell's remarks. There you go. There's the pump. Yeah, we've got a Trump announcement at 12 p.m., but he talks all day. He can do whatever he wants to do. You got something else in there that you're looking at, Andrew? I'm just curious if we're about to see an insane either continuation or reversion. CNBC still has Powell on. Yeah, Powell's talking. Beth Hamath up next. Watching Rick and Morty. What are you guys watching? Almost time for Let's Make a Deal. Yeah, this is gnarly, guys. So, you could get lucky on a throwing a trade on for something like this. I would say you're not lucky if you are a news-based trader, right? If this is your bread and butter, if you wait for, high-impact news events and you look to either, buy into that strength or fade it, that type of a deal. But if that's not your play, I would definitely encourage caution today. I wouldn't look to swing for the home runs. A lot of traders lose accounts on days like this. They lose a lot of money. Because it's exactly what they're doing, right? They're not news traders. They have nothing back tested. There's no edge. They just see the market moving and they see the volatility and then they know that they can make or lose a lot of money, right? If that's all you're going to do today, I would just say size up on any other day and lose money, right? The market, and I used to get FOMO'd into that. The market would start moving like crazy, right? And I'd go, oh man, I'm not in this move. I'm missing the move. I'm not going to be able to get in later. There's so much movement, Here we go. We gotta do something, and it typically just doesn't end well. Typically doesn't end well. So if you're a news trader, have your day for sure. Have your day. But if you're not, maybe you practice that in a demo account first. Something along those lines. But yeah, as far as me on this, guys, here in these accounts, I don't really have too much setting up. Outside of just watching it with you guys and hanging out, I really don't have a trade off of this. For me, there's not a continuation setup. There's not a reversion setup that I'd like to take off of this. I would prefer not to just jump in front of it for an insane reaction to the downside, which you could. You definitely could. You anticipate Trump maybe coming on and saying something crazy, or you're weighing in that this is just way overbought. But I really don't have too much on this. So you guys let me know what you think. You think we're going to continue the upside? We're going to go break that 6,500 level? Or do you think we're continuing lower? You think we're going to pull back to VWAP? Here, let's throw the poll in. I'm interested to hear. Up or down poll live in YouTube. What do you guys think? You think we are we're gonna go pump, break prior week high, go and crack the 6500s coming up right here? Like what's happening next, right? I know a whole bunch can happen in between then. Or do you think we are gonna pull right back down to the 6400s? You think we're gonna go sell off, go all the way back down towards yesterday's high? Curious to see. Hey Zach, what do you have for yesterday's high and low? Are my levels off again? Here's my daily chart. Here's my prior day high at 64.19. Here's my prior day low at 63.70 and a quarter. But they were jacked up before. So what does it show on this side? 64.19. 63.70 and a quarter. Yeah, they look good. They look good now. It's going to fall. Let's see. 67% of you got almost everybody looking for a sell-off on this one, huh? So I threw a poll in the chat asking whether you guys thought we were going to go crack the 6,500s, which we are actually closer to. We're going to sell off really aggressively. You guys are looking for the sell-off on this one, huh? We're shorting this. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what we get. We're starting to find some sellers up here. Continuing north. You guys are talking about Indians. I'm assuming you're Indian if you're talking about Indians. Interesting to see. Majority were voting that we sell off. Oh, now we got more votes rolling in. You guys are back to 50-50. You can't make up your mind. Nobody can make up their mind. Let's see. Starting to find some buyers up. Starting to find some sellers up here. Excuse me, guys. Let's see. Do we get an insane reversion? So, majority of you still voting that we are looking for a sell-off back to 6400s. Again, for me, guy, and I know I'm just chatting with you, throwing polls up, having some fun. This is no structure for me to trade off of. This was my level, so I'm interested to see what happens below prior week high, all the way up at the 6400s. 6500s. Starting to find some sellers now for sure, but I don't. I really don't have any kind of good trade setup on this. I think the cheap trade is to start to short this, right? Looking for a reversion back down towards VWAP, right? Really just erasing that. But so far, this has held pretty dang bullish. We've continued to pop to the upside. We're just now finally starting to find some sell orders. I think this could usually what happens after these, obvious, right? We go up or down. We usually either get the slow grind to the upside, like a continuation, or we get a pretty mean reversion, no pun intended, but a pretty nasty reversion all the way back down, which we're starting here. I mean, that's not a considerable amount to start to pull back. Let's see what happens as we come down back around these levels where we first started to find some sellers. We popped right up here on the 1 minute chart. Yeah, guys, I know I'm kind of getting quiet here. I'm just looking to see if I can start to frame something. We got orders above and below on Bookmap. I'll show you guys Bookmap here. Got orders above and below on Bookmap. Let's see. Yeah, we started to drop off here on this little test of the 85s, 86s right here. Pull back down to that area where we first started to find some sellers. This consolidation could be getting a nice clean break and retest. I could see maybe even a pullback down towards the 64.50s before a continuation in the upside. But I really don't have any clean level to trade off of or something that I'd like to fade. To the upside, I think it's hit the buy button and hold on for all-time highs. To the downside, you could take a sweep of the highs that we just put in. You could take the 6,500s with either one of those, maybe with a wide stop, looking for the big reversion, more volatility to come into the market. But I also think at any time, like we said, we can continue to see a big push to the upside, right? We got Trump speaking. We got more red folder news. So I think for me and these guys, I'm going to stay flat. I don't think I'm going to try my luck. I've had a really solid week all week. I would prefer not to just completely erase profit in these accounts coming into the weekend if I don't have to. I'll watch. Maybe I'll throw something on later as we start to calm down, get some more market structure that forms, but I'm not feeling that I have a clear read either way. I think it's a toss-up. I think you're better off just flipping a coin. I think the market's likely going to move either to all the way towards that all-time high or all the way back down at least towards VWAP, maybe that 6450, 6400 level. But a good indication of how that's going to happen and what that structure is going to look like, I just don't have that. Nothing beautiful lining up for me on this one. So I think I'm going to keep it short and sweet. The longer I sit here, the longer I'm trying to find a trade, and I really don't want to do that. Really don't want to force my way into anything. The good stuff, I was listening to I forget exactly who it was. I think it was Nick Stu on Instagram yesterday. Essentially was saying the A+ trades, the good trades, they stand out to you like a sore thumb. You know exactly what they look like. They feel good, and anytime he feels himself trying to find something, maybe this could kind of be like, that's the ones that don't work out, right? So for me today, I don't have anything standing out on this chart beautifully at me. That is something that's good risk structure and good direction. So on that note, I'm going to make it a short and sweet Friday morning session with you guys. I'm going to hop back on later. We'll see what the market did. We'll hop back on. We'll hang out. Maybe we'll run some duck races. We'll do something. But I'm going to keep this one short and sweet, man. I'm not going to look for a trade. I'm not going to try to force anything. And if I don't have something setting up real clear, just like we were talking about, I don't want to entice myself to do that. So I prefer to take a break, hang out, and then come back a little bit later. I'll be setting some alerts just so you guys know what I'll be looking at. I'll be setting some alerts up near that 6,500 level and then down near VWAP. We start to move to one of those extremes. Maybe we have a little bit better way to structure risk, right? But from up here, I think it's a coin flip and, pick your direction either on a huge reversion or a continuation. So I'd prefer not to do that today. So on that note, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Appreciate you guys being here. If you want, feel free, hop in the 100% free trading community. I will link it right here. No purchase necessary. This is free 99. You can ask me questions. We talk about the markets. We talk about everything else under the sun. And you get updated on live sessions, on everything we got going on. But it's going to be a no trade for me on this one, man. I'm going to be sticking to my guns, and I don't feel the need to gamble on news. So at least not today. So quick disclaimer, guys. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything at all. Do your own research, make your own trading decisions, read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content like Top 1 Futures, code RDF, Bookmap, and others. Appreciate you guys. Happy Friday. Hope to see you later. Hope to see you in Discord. Talk to you soon.